Welcome to the AW Services YouTube channel. A little video on my Flysight FPV monitor back in 2012, 2013, when drones were starting to evolve within the marketplace, from the DJI F450 flame wheel, F550, then on to the DJI Phantom 2 version 2. I think I was one of the first groups of people in the UK to get the Phantom 2 version 2. At the time, I was dealing with Paul and Beth at Hobby Mounts in Cornwall, and they were able to get me one of the first exclusive entries to the drone at the time. Excuse the flickering on the screen if you can. And we had to buy monitors when you bought your drone. We had the Zenmuse, I think it was like a 3D gimbal, which we fitted. We had the DJI, like an FPV. I can't think of the name. What it was called? It was basically an overlay, which we had to put in line with the DJI drones kind of IMU to then get flight data, etc., to come up on the screen, and then using like Black Mamba or various other video transmitters, which were, I think, a bit illegal at the time. I think I was using 25 milliwatts, which was giving me about 3 miles worth of distance of video transmission. But the Flysight Black Pearl monitor, I think it's about £199. They're still available now, and the prices are quite considerably high on these. It's an FPV monitor with different channels, 5.8 and 2.4 gigahertz reception, wireless, but also brilliant HDMI in and out. And I bought it primarily so I can use it as a kind of monitor on my DSLR cameras. And I wanted to use it recently on my new Sony A7R as like a video monitor, but unfortunately the battery died. Looking on the internet at availability on the batteries, they are unobtainium, basically. You can't get hold of them. Let me just shake the screen a minute, bear with me. Okay, I'm back. I apologise for the break. Yeah, so the batteries, replacement batteries, are unavailable. Nobody seems to stock them. I think Flysight are still in business, but can't get hold of them either. And it's a 12-volt battery. Input 10 volts, so it's 11.1 1000 milliamp hours lipo battery pack, which sits in the mount. So what I was doing, I was looking at options on whether I could get a new battery pack as is. Then my next option was to try and model and measure and model the back of this, so I could make a blanking panel that clips in the back where the battery was, just cut around so where the battery contacts are, wouldn't be using those, but just have a black panel or a thick piece of ABS plastic that locked into the back of this using its tabs and clips, and then mounting a generic Sony battery on the back or an additional battery pack. I then, with a very sharp Stanley knife, a modelling craft knife that came from Poundland. It was a chisel edge knife. I gently prised around the lid to then see if I can reverse engineer and buy some new lipo packs. So the battery cells in this, there are 3 of them, 3.7 volts, 1000 milliamp hours each. But these are bare batteries, so the batteries don't have any circuit protection built into them, just the positive and negative out tabs. I was looking for this particular style of battery, and I've searched high and low. I've tried to use a battery decoder by putting in the battery code, which is HSD 423469. Couldn't find anything on that. The size of these batteries are approximately 67 millimeters by 34 wide and about 3.5 in thickness. So all of the others I found were slightly smaller. I couldn't find any without the bare tops on them. I wasn't too sure whether I could just desolder them, but I thought at the end of the day, why waste my time? You know, it's getting old now, this technology. These batteries here are actually dated the 25th of the 8th, 2014. So today's date, this makes these batteries alone 10 years old. They've depleted, they haven't swollen. So what I'm going to do with these batteries is cut the wires out. I'm going to safely dispose of them, wink wink. I'm going to stab them with a knife, see if they go into thermal runaway, if there's anything left, and then just cut them up with a pair of scissors and put them in a bucket of water for a week and then dispose of them. But what I was thinking about doing is taking this BMS out and the battery connector, keeping the battery connector and the BMS board, which will just leave me with this shallow tray box. I was then going to mask all this off. I was then going to pour and pot the back of this box with resin, so I've just got a solid piece of plastic. The white marks here is where I use nail varnish remover, because I had some Velcro on the back of this and I had to remove it. So what I'm going to do is take the BMS out. I'm going to pot this either with resin. I'm going to stick the lid back on, and then all I'm going to do is put some 50mm hook and loop Velcro on the back of that. Put that back in the back of the monitor, so I never need to take that out again. And then I'm just going to use a 3800 milliamp hour 12 volt lipo external battery pack, which will stick onto the back of here with Velcro. A very short coiled 2.1mm by 5.5 jack that goes into the side of the monitor, and then I can power it. Another thing that might be helpful if you've just recently bought one of these second-hand on eBay. When I was dealing with hobby mounts in Cornwall for many years, when the drones were really coming into their own, Paul gave me some very useful information to say, if you accidentally plug your 12 volt charger onto the DC out socket, there was a chance that you could completely fry the circuit board inside. So what I did at that time, I was quite scared because I spent a lot of money. I got a Bic Biro end cap, which was black, heated it up and pushed it in the end of that jack, just to save me from ever plugging my jack socket into there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep the battery box, I'm going to fill it with resin so it's rock hard and solid, and then once I've done that, I'm just going to push it back into the back of the monitor, like so. Excuse the really on the fly video this evening. Can't be bothered to set up tripods, etc. But all I'm going to do is, like I say, put this back together. I'm then going to put it back into the back of the monitor, and then put some Velcro on the back, and then plug the battery straight in. The monitor works, HDMI in, is absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant definition screen, and it will be brilliant for video monitoring on my mirrorless camera, and also other video opportunities. And I was going to get a little flight case, mount this in like a little carry case along with an external battery pack anyway. I was going to mount this into the lid of like a little small Seahorse or Pelly case or a Max hard carry case with Velcro, and then I was going to put like a video capture card and everything in the bottom of that, and then just use this as a little like a live broadcast kind of video monitor, and kind of like video monitoring for that. Apologies for the video, very shaky. It's Friday night, knackered, but I just wanted to share that little fact about the batteries. And you can pause the video if you wish, but that is the battery diagram, kind of like dimensions. 67 by 34 by 3.5mm. What I've done here is a drawing illustration of actually like the reverse engineered of how the batteries are actually wired. So you've got battery pack 1, battery pack 2, battery pack 3. Left is positive, on the right hand side of each battery pack is the negative. So what they've done, the battery pack 1's positive goes to the first positive pin on the BMS board inside the battery package. Then you jump and connect the negative output of battery pack 1 to the positive input of battery pack 2. Then you tap off the battery pack 2's positive into the second pin on the positive tab on the BMS board. Battery pack 2's negative goes to the negative pin 1 on the BMS board, and then you've got battery pack 3, which then goes into that as well. I just wanted to double check actually, because I'm sure I've messed that up now even. Yes, so where I went wrong is battery pack 2 and 3. So you've got the positive again is jumped. Let me just correct this so I'm not giving out misinformation. So what they've done then, they've jumped again like so. So battery pack 2 negative post then connects into the positive post on battery pack 3. But if anybody has any luck in sourcing or retrofitting new battery packs into the back of these packs and then gluing them shut and then getting them to work for another 10 years, please let me know. It'd be interesting. I'm not one for throwaway things. I can normally repair, redesign and modify things to work, but it would be really nice to actually get a brand new battery pack for that, because that's probably one of the best monitors that I've ever come across. But I'll cut this long video short. If it helps you, give it a thumbs up, give the video a like, share it with your friends, leave a comment if you've got any useful tips that you can add on to this. Subscribe, support the channel, help it grow, and press the bell icon for notifications when new videos are published. Have a great weekend. Look after yourself. I'm Austin. This has been AW Services.